Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing well. Ever since the Taliban have recaptured their country, Afghanistan, there have been a lot of speculations, apprehensions, and fear by the international community, international media about how the new Afghan government would turn out to be regarding human rights, what would be the condition of human rights in Afghanistan. I'm a politician in Pakistan. I have my own political party, and by ethnicity, I'm a Pashtun, and I share blood, cultural, and historical ties with the Pashtuns of Afghanistan, including the Taliban. And we know that the Taliban majority is Pashtun by ethnicity. In view of the recent apprehensions and fears shown by the international community, I deemed it urgent and appropriate to speak to you on this matter and to try to give you an insight on what's happening in Afghanistan and whether we should stay optimistic with the new government or not. First of all, the portrayal of Taliban as some people who came out of nowhere, who have nothing to do with Afghanistan, and who are strangers, it's wrong. We need to accept reality, and the reality is that Taliban are natives. They have been living here for ages, and the Taliban are from amongst the Afghan masses. They are Pashtuns of Afghanistan. I understand the major concern of the international community regarding the recent announcement of the Taliban that they would introduce an Islamic system. I'm a student of theology, a student of religion and comparative religion. Let me tell you that if the Taliban have announced an Islamic system, and if they are ready to embark on a real Islamic system, then that should not be something which you should be afraid of. That should not be something that the international community should panic about. That should not be something that should alarm the international community. Why? Because Islam is a religion of peace. Islam is a religion of forgiveness, of tolerance, of guaranteeing equal rights to everyone, be it women, be it the religious minorities, be it the trans community, be it everyone, every ethnicity. It guarantees protection to everyone. It guarantees justice to everyone. It requires accountability of the rulers and of everyone. So Islam is a very balanced religion, and Islam is a religion that put emphasis on getting education for both men and women. In Islam, getting education is not an option. It's an obligation, it's mandatory, it's obligatory for every man and woman. And Islam never forbids any woman from getting education, playing sports, working in offices, earning for their families, and contributing to a country's economy, because it's evident from the life of our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that his wife, Hazrat Khadija, she was a business person, and his another wife, Hazrat Aisha, radiallahu anha, she was a teacher who would not teach the girls only, but also the male companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him. The Taliban have practically demonstrated in the recent some time that they are committed to the real Islam by first announcing a general amnesty for all their rivals, for their opponents, and that means that they are very much looking forward to the international community's acceptability. They want to convey the message that they have a changed behavior, they have mended their ways, and they are ready for an inclusive Afghanistan. And they also realize the fact that they cannot run Afghanistan in isolation. It has to be an inclusive Afghanistan. So they have announced a general amnesty for all their opponents. And I think it's a very good gesture from the Taliban. And recently the Taliban have also encouraged talented female students in different functions, and they are also giving the signal that they are ready to promote female education in Afghanistan. Now, there might be a question, there might be a reservation that why they are insisting on separate female institutions. Let me tell you that this issue is something which has to do with the culture as well. It should not be a big issue for us, because the main issue is how to get the Taliban to allow the girls and women of Afghanistan to get education. Having separate institutions should not be a big issue, because this is something that we also see in Pakistan, in India. In Pakistan, we have separate education institutions for girls. Even in the US, in the European countries, we have separate education institutions for girls. In the Middle Eastern countries. And let me tell you that what the problem is that the international community needs to engage with the new Afghan government. Why? Because if you do not engage with the new Afghan government of Taliban, they will not be able to promote education, including girls' education. There are lots of schools which are deserted, which are closed due to lack of funds. They do not have any funds to run government affairs. And according to the World Food Programme, by the end of September, Afghanistan will run out of food as well. Afghanistan has already run out of money. And the people of Afghanistan are heading for other countries, including the neighboring countries and European countries. And there is also, and the refugee crisis is also imminent. So now that when the Taliban are sending out signals of a changed behavior, and they are seeking international recognition, they are inviting foreign embassies to function in Afghanistan, and they are guaranteeing protection. They are also inviting United Nations offices to work in Afghanistan. They are having meetings with the international organizations officials. So I think that gesture should be accepted. And recently, and we also have seen that in the recent times, Taliban have also allowed polio vaccination drives in their controlled areas in the previous Afghan government. And and ever since they have recaptured Afghanistan, there are reports that the Taliban, some of the Taliban have also been seen with polio vaccination boxes. So it means that they also recognize the importance of taking care of the health of Afghan children. They're also concerned about the health of Afghan children, and they understand the importance of polio vaccination. And I'm very much optimistic that they will not create obstacle in corona vaccination as well, because that's a deadly disease, and they would also have concerns for the life of the Afghan people. So the international community needs to give the new Afghan government a chance. We need to give them a chance, and we need to see how they rule. It's very important for the promotion of education, and especially for girls' education. And there is a saying that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So we cannot expect that change to occur in one night, in one day. But the change is already there, and the Taliban, it seems, are willing to reform their previous ways, and they do not prefer isolation like their previous government, but they want to get along with the international community. Another point is important point why it's important to engage with the Taliban government is that according to a United Nations report, more than 80% of the world's drugs are produced in Afghanistan, and that's really that's really a matter of grave concern for us. So the Taliban, since they have announced an Islamic system, and Islam forbids any kind of drugs, it strictly forbids. So the Taliban have also made an announcement after recapturing Afghanistan, that there will be complete ban on the production, cultivation of drugs and also supply of drugs to other countries. It's a really encouraging sign. It's really a good gesture from the Taliban, and it should be accepted. And I feel that the international community should collaborate with the Taliban to eliminate drugs from Afghanistan, to promote education, and otherwise I see darkness. I see darkness of a humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan, which already is there, and I see also Afghanistan becoming a heaven for drugs again. Why? Because if we do not extend aid to the Taliban for running affairs of their country, they might be compelled to rely on the drugs for earning money, which is extremely dangerous for the entire world. And then there would also be a refugee crisis. There would be a refugee exodus, which would be a burden on the neighboring countries and also on the European countries. And the other concern that I understand of the international community is of Afghanistan becoming a safe haven for terrorists, like it had become previously. So again, there is a changed behavior from the Taliban, and it seems that they have learned from their past mistakes. They have made a clear announcement that they will never allow any terrorist organization to operate from the soil of Afghanistan and to harm any neighboring country or any other country in the world. So no country would be harmed from the soil of Afghanistan. And the Taliban have made this announcement that they would never support and give shelter to any terrorist organization. So it's, I think it's really a good gesture from the Taliban. And in case international community is still reluctant and it still does not engage with them, it still does not open its embassies in Afghanistan, the United Nations offices are not there. So I see the Afghanistan, the land of Afghanistan again going into the hands of terrorists and becoming a safe haven for terrorists, which is in no one's interest. That's really alarming. So that's why we need to stay pragmatic. We need to be very much careful in our analysis, and we need to constructively engage with the Taliban, new Afghan government. And I would urge the international community and also Pakistani government to help the Taliban promote education, especially women education in Afghanistan. And I would also request the Taliban brothers, because they are my brothers through bloodline, through a shared bloodline, we come from the same bloodline, that please, there is a need for you to get along with the international community. And if you do not want the Afghan people to suffer anymore, because they have already gone through lots of ordeals, lots of trials throughout the history of Afghanistan, and now it's a time to heal those wounds. So now that you have a changed behavior, we got the reports that you are asking commuters and travelers on their way that how people are treating you, how the Taliban people are treating you, and if there is any problem, the problem should be brought into your notice. And there is also a changed behavior regarding the governance, where the offenders of child sexual abuse have also been punished. The crime rate has also declined considerably. These are good things, but the need is that you need to get along with the international community, and there is a universally accepted charter of the United Nations Human Rights Charter. And let me assure you, because I'm also a Muslim, I'm your sister, Pashtun sister, that none of its provisions is in contradiction with the Islamic values. It guarantees protection, it guarantees rights for everyone, it's humane, it's totally about humanity. and Islam also stands for humanity. So you should, so I assure you that Human Rights Charter, United Nations Human Rights Charter would never disappoint you, and you need to implement that charter in your country. You need to get along with the international laws if you want to serve Afghanistan and the Afghan people in a better way. And lastly, I would also like to bring this matter to the fore, that there are people who still don't feel safe in Afghanistan, and they don't feel comfortable in Afghanistan with the new changes, and they are heading for other countries, for the neighboring countries and other countries. So please, my request to Pakistan and all other countries is that please do not shut your borders for those refugees. Please let them in, let them live in your countries till they are willing to go back to their countries. And the UNHCR, it's very kind of the UNHCR that it's offering to help maximum facilitation to all the countries, and there should be facilitation, and there should be an accommodating behavior for those Afghan people who do not feel comfortable with the new changes in Afghanistan. So in the end, my request to the international community is that please, it would be a more pragmatic, realistic approach if we give the new Afghan government a chance. And the Taliban are really seeking your acceptability, your recognition. They do not prioritize isolation, and they want to serve their country, and there is a humanitarian crisis, and there are lots of problems which are attached to not engaging with the Afghan government. So we cannot afford those dangers related to the non-engagement. So let's give the new Afghan government a chance, and let's see what they do. Thank you.